Once upon a time, in a small village in Africa, there lived a kind man named Kofi. Kofi was known throughout the village for his generosity and warm heart. One day, while walking through the forest, he stumbled upon an old, dusty drum hidden under some bushes. Curious, he picked it up and gave it a gentle beat. To his astonishment, the drum began to produce delicious food of all kinds: yams, fish, fruits, and more. Kofi could hardly believe his eyes. He decided to take the magic drum back to his village. He invited everyone to a grand feast, and when he beat the drum, food appeared in abundance. The villagers were amazed and overjoyed. From that day on, Kofi used the drum to feed anyone who was hungry, ensuring that no one in the village went without a meal. Word of Kofi's magic drum soon spread far and wide, reaching the ears of the king. The king was a greedy man, always looking for ways to increase his wealth and power. He summoned Kofi to his palace and demanded that he hand over the magic drum. Kofi, fearing the king's wrath, reluctantly gave it to him. The king was delighted and couldn't wait to use the drum. He ordered a grand feast for himself and his courtiers. When he beat the drum, food did appear, but it was different. The food was bland and unappetizing, and there was never enough to satisfy everyone's hunger. Frustrated, the king beat the drum harder and harder. But the more he did, the less food it produced. Back in the village, people began to go hungry again without the magic drum. Kofi felt a deep sadness seeing his friends and neighbors in need. He decided to confront the king and ask for the drum back. He traveled to the palace, and when he arrived, he found the king in a foul mood, complaining about the drum's failure. Kofi respectfully approached the king and said, "Your Majesty, the magic drum only works when used with a kind heart and generous spirit. If you let me take it back to the village, it will once again provide food for everyone." The king, desperate to regain the drum's magic, reluctantly agreed. He handed the drum back to Kofi, but with a stern warning. Kofi returned to his village, greeted with cheers and smiles. He raised the drum and was about to beat it when a sudden gust of wind blew through the village, carrying it with an eerie whisper. The drum slipped from Kofi's hand and rolled into the dense forest. The villagers gasped as the drum disappeared from sight. Determined to recover the drum, Kofi ventured into the forest, accompanied by his loyal friend Amina. The forest was dark and filled with strange noises. They followed the faint trail left by the rolling drum, navigating through thick underbrush and towering trees. As they pressed on, the forest seemed to close in around them, the path becoming more treacherous with each step. After hours of searching, they stumbled upon a hidden cave. The entrance was guided by a massive stone statue of an ancient warrior. Amina noticed strange symbols carved into the stone. "These are the warning signs," she whispered. "We must be careful." With heart pounding, they entered the cave. Inside, the air was cool and damp, and the walls were lined with glittering crystals that cast an airy glow. Deeper into the cave, they found a magic drum resting on an ancient altar. But as Kofi reached out to grab it, the ground trembled, and the stone statue came outside to life. The stone warrior blocked their path. its eyes glowing with a fiery intensity. Who dares to disturb the sacred drum? It thundered. Kofi, mustering all his courage, stepped forward. We mean no harm. This drum belongs to our village. It feeds our people. Please, let us take it back. The stone warrior gazed something, but it did not move. The drum's magic is powerful and must be used wisely. You must prove your worth by passing 3 trials. Kofi and Amina exchanged determined glances. They agreed to the trials, knowing the future of the village depended on their success. The first trial was a test of bravery. They had to cross a narrow bridge, suspended over a deep channel filled with swirling mist. The bridge swayed dangerously with every step, but Kofi and Amina held onto each other and carefully made their way across. The second trial tested their wisdom. They encountered a labyrinth with countless paths, each leading to a dead end except one. Using their wits and remembering the pattern of the cave walls, they navigated the maze and found the correct paths. The third and final trial was the hardest. They had to face their deepest fears, brought to light by the cave's magic. Shadows of monstrous beasts and haunting whispers surrounded them. Amina, trembling, saw vision of losing her family, while Kofi was confronted by the specter of failing his village. Holding hands, they reminded each other of their mission and pushed through the illusion, emerging victorious. As they completed the trials, the stone warrior stepped aside, allowing them to take the drum. You have proven yourself worthy, it said. Use the drum with a pure heart. With the drum safely in hand, Kofi and Amina hurried back to the village. The villagers, seeing them returned, erupted in joy. Kofi raised the drum and beat it, and once again produced abundant food for everyone. But just as they began to celebrate, a shadowy figure appeared at the edge of the village. It was the king, flanked by the guards, his eyes filled with greed and anger. He had followed them, determined to reclaim the drum for himself. As the shadowy figure of the king approached, the villagers' cheers turned to whispers of fear. The king, flanked by his guards, marched towards Kofi, his eyes blazing with greed. Kofi, the king sneered, you think you can keep the magic drum for yourself? It belongs to the kingdom, and I will have it back. Kofi stood tall, his heart steady. Your Majesty, he said firmly. The drum's magic works only when used with generosity. It will not serve you if your heart is filled with greed. The king laughed scornfully. We shall see about that, he said, reaching for the drum. But as soon as he touched it, the drum made a loud, echoing sound and began to shake violently. The sky darkened, and a powerful wind swirled around them. The stone warrior voice boomed from the sky. King, your selfish heart taints the magic of the drum. You have failed to learn its true purpose. Terrified, the king tried to release the drum, but it was stuck to his hands. The ground beneath him started to crack, and the villagers gasped. Kofi, filled with compassion despite the king's action, stepped forward and placed his hand on the drum. Please, release him, Kofi pleaded. Let him go, and we will show him the power of generosity. The stone warrior voice softened. Kofi, your heart is pure. You have passed the trials and proven the true power of the drum. The king must witness the strength of a generous spirit. The wind died down, and the drum stopped shaking. The king, now free from its grip, fell to his knees, Shaking and humbled, Kofi beat the drum gently, and once again, food appeared, more abundantly and delicious than ever. Kofi turned to the king. Your Majesty, see how the drum responds to kindness and generosity. Join us in sharing its blessings with everyone. The king, tears in his eyes, nodded. He realized the error of his ways and stood up, his heart filled with remorse. I have been blind, he admitted. I see now that true power lies in giving, not taking. Please forgive me. Kofi smiled and offered his hand. Together, we can make sure no one in the kingdom goes hungry. From that day forward, the king walked alongside Kofi and the villagers, using the drum to ensure that everyone had enough to eat. The kingdom flourished, and the people lived in harmony, grateful for the magic drum that had brought them together. And so, the tale of the magic drum spread far and wide, teaching all who had it the importance of generosity and the dangers of selfishness. Kofi and the villagers lived happily, their hearts full of joy, and their tables always abundant. The magic drum continued to beat with the rhythm of kindness, a kindness reminder that true wealth is found in the spirit of giving. Folktales are rich in moral lessons and cultural heritage, often illustrating the values and the wisdom of African communities. Thank you for joining us on this thrilling journey. To watch more captivating stories and stay updated, please subscribe to our channels. Don't forget to watch our videos, share them with your